quite a traumatic incident, if you will. And so we have to have a high level of seriousness. That's the expectation today as we engage with the conversation from the text. Now, this is one of my favorite parts of social studies, why we learn social studies, to make the world a better place. And in order to do that, sometimes we have to read serious perspectives from people around the world that don't get to experience a life like we do a lot of the times. A lot of the times their lives are much more difficult. So today as we engage in conversation, let's keep a serious attitude. I love laughing. I think it might not seem so sometimes, but I really do love to laugh, and I think it's important for life. But for today, let's keep a serious attitude, all right? Cool? All right. So today we're going to go over, we're going to have a group discussion with the text that we're going to read. Now, there's some items and expectations we have when engaging with text. So the first is we have to dig deeply into the text. Get into what the author is telling us and try to put yourself in the feeling of the person we're going to read about, because I think that will really help you get a good perspective for the article and for the discussion. So, some topics for a great discussion. All members in the group get to speak. Okay? Try not to. I talk way too much, and often don't let people in discussions talk. It's not cool. I'm working on it. All members listen. Okay, so we're listening, we're actively listening. This is the part that most humans have problems doing because we like our own thoughts and we like ourselves so much and what we have to say, but we have to listen to others. Okay, so actively listen, right? Everyone gets a chance to talk. We touched on that. Members respond to each other. So really, when you engage in discussion, it's not just sharing out. So if I'm listening to Katai, she says something to me, I don't want to just share out what I have to say. I want to respond to what she actually says. So, there are also some sentence starters that we'll put up and that are on the sheets that we'll give you that will help you as well. But I want to invite Ms. Danford up here, my wonderful guest, to model how we should discuss. So, Ms. Danford and I have both been reading this text, Engaging Students with Poverty in Mind. This text is assigned to me from my schooling at CU Denver and for Ms. Danford here at her job at Carmody. And this shows that we always have to read and learn new perspectives even when we're an adult and have a job. So, Ms. Danford and I are going to engage in a quick discussion about this text, as you will later with your text. So pay attention to what we do. Ms. Danford.
Yes. Mr. McNulty,
yes.
What was your first thought as you first started to read this book?
My first thought was that this book was awesome because it was real. It gave real life examples of what I can actually do. So a lot of times books are wishy-washy and they're like, yada, 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 this is what's happening, but they don't tell me what to do. Where this book tells me what to do.
So can you give me an example? Give me one strategy for teaching students with poverty in mind, one strategy that really stuck out to you that you could use.
So the strategy I would like to use, and that I got from this book, Ms. Danford, was positive feedback. Because too often students from poverty receive way too much negative feedback.
Yeah.
It's like 5 to 1.
And I totally remember that exact thing. That's like the biggest thing that I took from this book as well, was that little statistic that kids that live in poor households get so much more negative reinforcement at home than kids who live in households that are wealthier. And was it 5 to 1?
It might even be more than that. It
Yeah.
might be like 7 negative comments for every 1 comment, where wealthy rich kids get like 7-to-1 positive to negative.
Right, like, oh, Johnny, good job on going potty.
Yeah.
Woo!
Instead of,
Yeah,
you know, sit down.
yeah,
What are you doing up?
right, right. And so what do you think then you could do, how would you apply that in your work here then? What could you do in the classroom to sort of battle that component with our students that are living in poverty?
So when a student answers a question, if the question is wrong, but the student really tried and really put some effort into it, applaud them for their effort and not just be like, hey, that's wrong. You don't need to talk for the rest of the class. That's not what they said.
Right, right. Cool, okay.
Cool. So, third period, what do we notice about Miss Danford's conversation with me? Jordan.
You guys listened to each other and had eye contact.
Okay, we had eye contact. And that signified to Jordan that we were listening to each other. Sean, what did you notice?
I've noticed that
That you're not positive? What did you notice about the conversation?
oh, I'm sorry. I've noticed that you were noticing that with each other you read the book and you had a good discussion on how on a certain topic. You respected each other's ideas.
So we respected each other's ideas, and he said that we used knowledge from the text. So we had both read the book, and we were using examples from the book. Anything else? So eye contact, knowledge from the book. Reese, notice anything? Particular?
Did you think we were listening to each other?
Yeah.
How did you know? How did you know we were listening to each other, Molly?
Well, you were both making eye contact, and you were both kind of like restating each other's questions.
And that's a super important skill with discussion, is that's how you let that other person know that I just heard what you said, right?
I've noticed that when you guys were talking, like when one of you were having a comment, the other one would like have something like really mean to respond back to it.
Oh, so we were respectful.
Mm.
I think it's important we be respectful because we all have different perspectives, different opinions. Very good. Okay, so we are going to hand out a text and this booklet here. It's called Dialogue with the Text. And these are going to give you some questions that after the text you will be answering in groups, in conversation. So these are to help you with the conversation. So I will hand out these, and I will hand out the text.
And I'm handing out a sheet that just has sentence starters on it. So if being in a conversation is something that is stressful for you, this will be a way for you to start a sentence. And it's just simple sentence starters like, I think, I believe, I'm wondering. So use these if you want to, you might not need to. But don't get into the book yet.
Yeah, don't start yet.
Yes, ma'am?
Don't start yet because we haven't read the article.